In this session, we're going to look at how AI is impacting and improving social media marketing. I'm Neil Wilkins. AI is really making significant gains, if you like, in terms of its impact and its influence within social media marketing, which has been a channel or a series of channels that we as marketers have enjoyed for many, many decades now. We're going to explore how AI is actually transforming this environment, though, because social media marketing is changing. We're now seeing advanced targeting. We're seeing things like sentiment analysis and real-time engagement really coming to the fore now within our social media marketing activities in ways that we've never really seen. For some of us, we may well have seen little small gains when we do such things manually and as humans, but now, into the advent of AI, we're able to do this at scale. We're able to do this in real time, and we're able to do this really accurately to improve customer experience, but also the impact of our marketing to generate revenues, influence behavior change, and all of those strategic things that we're looking to do. So the key topics that we're going to cover in this session is putting AI-driven targeting at the heart of our social media marketing strategy. So targeting and focus is going to be something that's really, really important, and in fact, absolutely essential for the way that we're going to see the gains coming through from AI in social media. We're going to explore sentiment analysis. For those of you unaware of sentiment analysis, it's basically how your customer or your target audience is feeling. It's the subjective element of the relationship that you build with them in social media. And this can apply at a global level. This can apply at an individual level. So there's a lot of things really to consider there, but we're going to get some amazing insights using the power of AI within our audience profiling and monitoring. We're also going to talk about real-time engagement. Now, for me, this is one of those things that is slightly imbalanced, I think, for me personally, because whilst AI gives us the opportunity to schedule and target and, create content that is of a, you could argue, slightly less personal layer or level than we would normally have had if a human was creating it or doing it ourselves. But at the same time, we have the opportunity here to really understand in a real-time sense what is actually happening through the power of AI. So there's kind of pros and cons there, and I'm going to talk about those. We're also going to have a little explore of some of the tools and best practices that you can be beginning to consider for your most impactful campaigns and tactical projects that you have coming up, and maybe starting to explore how you can use some of these tools for better gain and better end results. So AI's impact is really significant right now. We're seeing, repetitive tasks being automated through AI. We all know we can do this. We will be increasing efficiency by removing the human element of those repetitive tasks that keep us on what I might describe as a hamster wheel. So we're going round and round and round, but we're not really getting anywhere. So we're consuming time, and that is not a great ROI when it comes to the human value and the true marketing value of the activities we do. So if we can automate repetitive tasks where as humans we add very little value, then we stand a chance of already, even just by that activity, seeing greater gains in our social media marketing. The AI tools that we're going to be looking at will provide data-driven insights to inform even better decision making. Now, you might say, well, actually, I make great decisions already. What do I need AI for? But this is a deep, deep and highly nuanced set of data that is going to drive the evaluation of your performance so you can continuously improve what you do. And it is this very deep level of insight-driven data marketing that we're going to be looking at, not just surface numbers, vanity metrics, and the like. We're going to go deep into the value of data-driven insights, because that is a very key thing that will basically, for a lot of us, will be a game changer in the way that we report, the way that we drive our decisions going forward. And we're going to enhance personalization to improve our customer or audience experience. We're going to be able to use AI now to go far, far deeper, as I say, within the data, but also look at enhancing the personalization. This has been something that for many of us, we've dreamed about for many years, being able to provide a true one-to-one experience for our customers. We now can do this. AI is that perfect storm that's arisen rather, to give us that opportunity that would otherwise have just really been a theoretical thing in a textbook. And we're already seeing a broad, right across many, many sectors, many, many industries. We're seeing adoption now because, well, almost all business leaders will agree that AI can in some way help optimize things like social media, data collection and insights to improve marketing efforts. And so we're going to go a little bit deeper into how you draw these things together in your strategy and your planning, because that's important. I mean, AI-driven targeting strategy, when it comes to actually the targeting of your audience, which again is something that we've always been doing, but we haven't been doing it at the kind of level that AI enables. So AI is going to enable enhanced targeting. We're going to be using AI to analyze our data, our performance, our insights to then generate precise audience segmentation. I mean, for most of us, we've been doing customer profiling. We have customer personas who we target, we try and find, we try and hook them in, engage with them, and then drive value towards them. But it's often based around, and I found this over many, many years of doing profiling with clients and organizations, that actually what happens is that, with the best will in the world, you're basing this on hearsay, you're basing this on anecdotal evidence when you start to profile a customer. And I've always said, going way, way back, it's about building the persona of your ideal customer, and then we can go and see if we can find them. Well, having done that as a manual exercise, maybe you do it in a team meeting, you can now underpin that with the AI analysis as well. So you actually got data there to prove, not just show evidence of, but to prove that you are targeting the right persona and you're targeting those little nuanced details that will separate the value you bring from the value your competitors do. So this is a really competitive angle that you can take here. It's really, really exciting. And it's going to also improve when you do use AI for targeting. It's going to improve if you're advertising, it's going to improve the ad performance, because what we're looking at here with AI is the ability to do predictive analytics. So not just basing stuff on historical data, which, let's face it, most of us do. If you're using things like Google Analytics and maybe some social media dashboards, you're analyzing that data, it's historic data, and then it requires you then to make those predictions. And okay, if you're looking at a snapshot in time, it's pretty much impossible. But if you're looking at a trend and you can see the graph really, really trending, then you're pretty confident that you're making some good predictions. But you won't be making the kind of predictions that AI will enable, because it is looking at multiple variances. It's looking at multiple combinations of data. Multivariate analysis is a phrase that you will hear a lot when it comes to targeting and using this kind of data in a more scientific sense, really. So predictive analytics is a really exciting thing. We're seeing a number of AI tools now coming through. We're seeing this kind of predictive analytics coming through embedded in some of our more familiar tools. I mean, probably the one that you're using, maybe you have a social media dashboard and you're starting to see AI being mentioned in there. AI enabled this, AI powered that. And so it's coming. It really is going to get embedded in there. I mean, smartly.io is a really good example of an AI powered ad platform that offers both creative, media, and intelligence solutions, literally combined in one. So you're starting to see this kind of collaboration, if you like, between the AI generated tools and then the dashboards and the user interfaces that we've all been familiar with. So, it's exciting. This stuff is going to get embedded. It is going to become, in time, it is going to become something that is just what you expect. It is just how we do things. But right here, right now, if you grab this opportunity, this is going to give you competitive edge. And if you're using larger systems, something like maybe Salesforce Agent Force, which is one that supports business tasks in both, combining sales, marketing, and customer support in a more holistic sense, then you have an opportunity here to be talking this data, be targeting across multiple disciplines within your organization who may also be using the same platform. So there's a really interesting thing internally for larger organizations to be talking a much more coordinated story and actually joining up sales, marketing, and customer support activities using AI-driven or AI-powered insights. So you're all working from the same data, you're all telling the same story. And can you imagine how that's going to play out from the customer's perspective? It's going to be far, far more joined up. It's going to be much more integrated. And so that quality of the customer experience coming through this targeting and this personalization for the customer is going to be so, so impressive. So, from a pure brand perspective, as well as a tactical day to day operational perspective, this is going to give us win, win, win. It really is. So, it is something to take seriously. Now, once we start to increase the impact on our customers, then it's time to start looking at how they are then being impacted and feeling that subjective thing that I talked about a little earlier, this idea of sentiment analysis. This is much deeper insights into our audience. It isn't just about did they click that button on that ad or did they engage with that particular social post. This is much more about how did they feel when they did that? What kind of wording are they using it? Some of those really subtle clues that give us a really clear insight into actually what's happening, because people might be clicking the button, but it might be reluctantly, or they might be posting a review, but it's a little neutral. It isn't as positive as it used to be when we used to do this particular style of campaign. So it is those little nuances that we are going to be able to understand. AI, for example, will analyze social media conversations to gauge a wider public opinion. And so you can be using these kinds of tools to kind of get a sense of, okay, we typically post these kinds of campaigns at this point in time, but public opinion right now is looking a little either distracted or a little negative. Maybe we use some predictive analytics and figure out if there's a better time to be running this social campaign. And it's going to do things like informing our content strategy, because at then a more local level or down to even an individual level, we're going to be able to identify our audience's emotions and preferences. We're seeing tools already seeing this embedded. Sprout Social, very, very popular social dashboard that we've had for many, many years, is now using AI-powered social listening and sentiment analysis embedded in its actual algorithms. So you can actually get access to some of that stuff through Sprout Social. Brand24 as well offers real-time access to mentions with a really advanced sentiment analysis. So it goes deep into the insights that it can draw from how the public, how our audiences, how our communities are feeling and thinking at any one point in time. And of course, if you think about this from a real-time sense, this enables us to be very, very appropriate to our audience, very in sync with how they are feeling and responding to the world around them. And particularly as we go through what are pretty much chaotic times, most industries are finding it currently quite a bumpy time. There's a bumpy road ahead. I mean, we're not saying things are necessarily going to settle down economically, financially, or from a particular sector perspective. Most of us are finding there's challenges out there, but imagine having real-time engagement. Well, obviously we're seeing it already within AI coming through in the form of chatbots and automated messaging, but actually enhancing customer experience by providing instant support, nuance to how the customer's feeling, because you already have their sentiment coming through. You've already captured that and you're responding in a really appropriate way. I'm finding that this is a really interesting now balance, because I have to say, a little bit cautious when it came to the early days of AI and seeing this play out in terms of maybe taking us away from the real time, because it's just so easy now to do content scheduling, which allows us to be doing a lot of planning and plotting in advance and then maybe turning our back on actually what's happening in real time. But what AI is now encouraging us to do is come full circle and say, okay, it's great to schedule this stuff. So you don't actually have to be there to publish it and push it out at a particular time that is live, but make sure, human, that you are there. Make sure, marketer, that you're around when that stuff goes out, because you can't just rely on the AI to actually have that conversation, that interaction. Yes, some of it can be automated. There are now organizations who have extensively deep customer journeys now that are fully automated. But I would still question whether having the human at some point or points within that process is still appropriate. I'm yet to see an example, and please do share with me if you found one, but I'm yet to see an example where an exclusively AI-driven environment provides the same level of customer value and customer experience than what I might term a hybrid system, a hybrid customer journey, where a lot of it, the low-hanging fruit and the automated bits, are the things where we don't add value, but then there are places in that customer experience or customer journey where we are there as humans to interact with the customer. For me, it's hybrid real-time engagement. That, I feel, is the way that this is really going to play out in terms of best value, both to the organization, but also to the customer. But see what you think, have a play. It is all about getting your hands dirty with this stuff, because your world could be subtly different, slightly different to mine. So have a play and see what you think. If you want to try some tools for real-time engagement, Amplify is a good one. That's an AI-driven platform for managing social media interactions. And you may well have already come across Vista Social, which connects multiple social media channels for what you might term seamless engagement, but making sure that you are there at certain points in the process so you can observe, you can watch, you can engage as it is appropriate within your customer's journey. And as we're doing this, of course, the title of this is Social Media Marketing Improvement. So we need to be then doing the before and after comparison. We need to be looking to see, okay, what difference is this actually making? And it might feel like it's making a good difference because we're spending less time doing it and we're still getting results the other end. But let's actually get a little bit more scientific. Let's get a little bit smarter and see what kinds of things we might do significantly better, and can we find the evidence and the insights to evaluate to continuously improve what we do? Well, the answer is absolutely yes. Content creation and optimization is the name of the game within the AI circles right now. AI is going to assist you obviously in creating really compelling content tailored to the audience preferences. We've seen that bit, and obviously for a lot of us, we've been dabbling with the likes of ChatGPT and many other now platforms are available to do this. But what it also allows us to do as we think about that content being created in a really appropriate way for our customers, it is about optimizing posting time and formats for maximum engagement. So rather than kind of relying on, well, this is what we've always done and it always seems to have worked, that's fine, but there could be better ways of actually doing it. So tools like Hootsuite and Flick, I've both got now AI-powered social media platform management, which is going to speed up your production process at the same time as optimizing and really leveraging the algorithms that are running behind the scenes to make sure that you can really listen to and monitor the effectiveness of these recommended optimal times to post. I mean, if you use something like Meta's business suite, for example, you'll know that you can actually specify the time when that particular post is going out, or you can show and you can see active times. So maybe it's better to wait till 7 p.m. rather than post at lunchtime on this particular day, because Meta behind the scenes and all the AI sort of tools that it has operating behind the scenes invisible to you actually are looking and saying, well, this particular audience that you're looking to target with this particular campaign rather than all the others that you do, they're most likely to being fully engaged at 7 p.m. So the question then is, do you trust that? Do you do what you've always done just because you feel it's safer? Or do you test? And that would be my third option. That would be the option I'd go for, is like, okay, the next time I do it, I'm going to go with a recommended time, the active time, as Meta calls it, and we'll see. And I think this, for me, is the really exciting thing. This is where, as marketers, digital marketers, content creators, we have to really wake up, and literally every single post that we do, every single piece of engagement that we try, is we've got to listen, we've got to watch, we've got to see if that was different. This word optimization is not a throwaway word. It's one that we really, if we're smart marketers, we should be truly committing to. Don't be lazy marketer. Don't worry about those vanity metrics. It's all about where are we getting value from. So look and play is the key here, and watch and improve continuously. So the best practice right now is to do just that, is to actually get out there and start to continuously monitor and adjust your AI strategies based on performance metrics. In other words, every decision you make, every change that you instill is all about having it as evidence driven, evidence based, so that when challenged, it's like, well, we always post at, Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. because that's what we've always done. And you may get that kind of pushback. You can say, okay, I know we have, but look, here's the evidence that if we do it at 2 p.m. on a Thursday rather than 4 p.m. on a Friday, this is what now is happening. And then you can forecast forward as to, well, okay, is there an even better time that we could do? And you're going to get those data-driven, evidence-based conversations going within your organization. And that is exciting because, the cards are very much in your hand when you've got the data to back up your arguments. And so you're now really in control and in charge of this stuff if you choose to be. At the same time, there being very, very clear on your overarching objectives for not only how you're going to utilize AI here, but also not forgetting the higher and overarching strategic goals that you've been set. Because ultimately, AI is simply a set of tools and processes and systems that's enabling you to achieve better return on investment of your time working on the brand that you're responsible for. That is it. These are not the end games. And this is something really to bear in mind. We can often get caught up in the hype, but the end game is delivering more value for your organization and for your customer at the same time as doing good for the planet. So that's the mix, and we should always remember that's our North Star. So the clear objectives for your AI, however you decide to roll it out, need to be based around those three criteria, because otherwise you are going to get swept along with the media hype around these tools. And yes, they are exciting. I get really excited by them, but in isolation, they are just tools. So what we need to remember is our overarching goals. And as well, because this is AI, it is a sensitive area. It's an emerging technology or suite of technologies that are yet to be fully proven. So data privacy and ethical considerations have to come into every decision that you take. Case law has not been fully set yet. There's a lot of work happening behind the scenes in government and the regulators to try and sort of set up these things so that we can all be very, very clear on what we could and what we should be doing. But my rule of thumb is, if in doubt, don't, but also don't be fearful. I think that's the key here is, it's okay to play. It's okay to experiment. But if you feel, are we pushing on the boundaries a bit here? Then you probably are. I always kind of feel, and I've always used the rule of thumb, that if I'd be happy to see what I'm doing published on the front of a newspaper, on the front of a news website, and it had my name against it, how would that make me feel? If it would make me proud, then it's good, I'm doing good. But if I'd feel, oh, I'm a little bit exposed here, then that is a very clear sign to back off. Maybe then we've pushed the boundaries too far. So think about whatever policies or guidelines you have, or if you're shaping them up, ensure that data privacy and ethical considerations, which we've covered before, are very much considered in all of your decision making. And as we go forward, this is very much an emerging space. The playbook is being written by all of us as we go, that we've never as a humanity been here before. I find myself saying this quite a lot, but it is so important to remember. There is no really true best practice, but there are evolving trends. Some of the emerging trends that we're seeing, obviously, is the increased use of AI for video content creation and editing within socials. We know that that is going to be a big, big thing over the coming years, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I still feel authenticity and honesty, though. If you're using AI, and it's important that the customer understands that you've used AI, then make it clear. Maybe hashtag AI created or something around the social post. But if it doesn't really matter to you or your customer and you're just using it as a visual backdrop for something, then is it really that important? Individual decisions need to apply to that question. But as we see the increased use of AI for creation of the content itself, it is something really that you need to be considering. And we're also going to see, and we are already seeing, enhanced AI capabilities in influencer marketing and brand collaborations. So being really careful to not forget that some of the AI stuff with the advent of avatar influencers is going to change the shape of the partnerships and the affiliations and the collaborations that we've had before. This is going to go right the way through your value chain. Your competitors may or may not be doing things like this. Influencers that you may well have used in the past in socials are going to now take on a very different form. Could you create your own influencer? Could you create your own thought leader avatar, for example, in AI? Well, the answer technically is yes, but does it fit? Could it fit? Should it fit? Those are questions really to think about. And we're seeing a lot, as we have done with the posting and the creation of our social media marketing improvements with AI. We're seeing a lot of this actually now starting to get embedded within the actual social media platforms themselves. Meta is currently testing AI video editing capabilities on both Facebook and Instagram, which is going to allow advertisers to animate images and expand video borders, for example. So we're seeing this play out, this whole AI within social play out in every level, every form and every tool, platform and approach that we could possibly be seeing. So it really is an exciting area to play in. It's a really exciting area to explore. But it is about exploration. That is the thing. Don't expect to get the instant answers or the instant results from the get-go. This is probably something you're going to need to use the word pilot in front of. So I would recommend, as next steps, really evaluating your current social media strategies and maybe then piloting some AI integration opportunities for efficiency saving, for, as we said right at the start, actually some of the things that you're doing, you may well be able to automate without it impacting negatively on the customer experience, but that will in itself improve your ROI because you'll be spending less time doing the stuff you don't need to be doing. So maybe pilot and experiment with those things. Definitely experiment with some of the recommended AI tools, which potentially will enhance your marketing efforts. The more you know, the more information you have at your hands, in your hands, the more ability you have to make these really, really quite profound strategic decisions on your way forward. It is really exciting, but you need to be finding this for yourself. It isn't good enough to be just listening to the latest AI influencer or media channel to tell you. You need to experience this to make sure that you're embedding things into your processes, into your systems, and into your tactics and campaigns that is appropriate both for your organization, you personally, and also for your customer. And so it is, of course, then very important to stay informed about emerging AI trends. You need to be thinking about this as an ongoing activity. This is something which, because it is such a perfect storm for AI and business more generally, this is not going to go away. Anybody who says, oh, well, AI, it's just a fad, it's excuse me, it's just a fad, it's not going to be around for that much longer. Well, I think they need to sort of realize just how embedded it is becoming in our everyday lives, both as business professionals, but also as consumers in our own right. So it is there, it is here, it is to stay. So stay informed about emerging AI trends. You do need to maintain a competitive edge in this whole sphere, but it isn't a thing to then just panic about and think, oh no, well, I'm already behind. You're not. If you're actually thinking and working on this, piloting stuff, watching, listening, sensing those sentiment audits that are coming through from your tools, responding, piloting again, and continuously improving, even at a very, very low test level, then the chances are you are already leading in your sector. As I said before, the playbook is not written, The scene is being set, but it's being set by you. So this is an opportunity for really embracing this, this new way of marketing. And within social media, which is currently really, really changing, it is going to be really great to be at the front of that wave, because the eyeballs and the ears are going to be focused on people like you who are taking social media marketing improvement really, really seriously. So I wish you every success in the journey here, and do share with us, do share and let us know how things go. This has been Neil Wilkins talking AI for social media marketing improvement.